For those who are going to have winter this year, how do you get ready for shoveling? How do you get ready so you don't have lower back stress or strain? After all, you're going to have an imbalanced lift unless you're shoveling straight across, pushing across. And how do you avoid twisting? Because a lift and a twist is how you hurt your back most. So the simplest point can be starting off with just learning how to brace your core. There are a couple very simple focused exercises that you can do. If you have an option of having tension through a band, aiming for about 5 to 8 pounds, as you're doing that, you can simply be bracing while you're laying down and feel for where those deeper abdominal muscles are. Once you get accustomed to that, you can march or bridge to get accustomed to moving your hips while your back stays steady. Then you progress to standing, in which you work on doing different activity while you again brace the abdominal wall and you keep an upright position. You, in other words, avoid leaning back. You don't arch your back to lift. You keep your back in control while you move through the legs. So in this case, there is no leg movement. If you're transitioning upward, that shows again a loss of brace. But if you control your brace, you're upright. If you start to lose control, you fall into an incline press. So again, this is a training way to make sure you're keeping upright and not arching. Moving on to mobility for the hip, so your hips get used to moving in multiple planes. You can have a diagonal step up. That way you have control through a full amount of motion. There is no load for the back at that one. For countering rotation, you can use tubing or bands to counter rotation while you're going through a split squat motion. So you're interacting with multiple planes, focus on control. Then you can progress to having a plane on one side and lowering the lower back at the same time. Again, countering rotation while you have that position. And you could split it where you keep the tension through the back as a split squat as well. Moving on to asymmetric lifting. If you have symmetric, it's very simple. Whether it is below your body weight or at your body weight. But as you'll see, as I move back a step and actually reduce the weight, but don't have the same load, it's a challenge. I paused and then I shifted my weight over my side as I get used to the imbalance. You can also do this with barbells, as showing with my body weight but symmetric load. It's very straightforward, no problem. The asymmetry in look is from the floor being a little uneven, but otherwise it's a very even load. Now, even though I'm reducing load, you'll see that this does not look the same because there's more load on the right than the left. But after a rep or two, you start to figure it out. So that helps you train to get used to that asymmetric lift. Again, demonstrating that if I reduce the imbalance, then it actually becomes easier. It's insufficient for the offset load. So why do we do this? Because when we start to do these initial lifts, you have to be ready for that asymmetric lift. So going back to shoveling, I'm going to have lift on one side. I realize I'm pushing down on the other, but it's still an asymmetric load, and you have to